What's going on YouTube? My name is Jay, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for clicking on yet another video. Hope you've had a fantastic day. We've got to talk about the transfer window. It's all that's been on everyone's mind the last couple of days since the transfer window slammed shut at 11 PM on Tuesday. What a window. Just first and foremost, what a window all in all. I mean, it really sort of only picked up the last couple of days, and deadline day is one of the most chaotic days of all time. Doesn't matter if it's the summer or the January transfer window. But the sheer amount of money spent is getting ridiculous. Now, we know that, and we are talking about Chelsea here. We have got to talk about Chelsea here. We're not going to talk mainly about other teams, but we've got to talk about Chelsea. You know, they have found a loophole, which basically means they can offer their players extremely long contracts to then pay out a certain amount of money off that. Now, while there is nothing inherently wrong with that, because it's not illegal, it's not frowned upon, it's not against the rules, it's perfectly legal to do, I think the thing people have the issue with is it morally acceptable to do that? You know, because you are pushing the system to its very edge. And you look at Formula 1, for example. Whenever a team finds a loophole with something, the other people will instantly try and get it banned. And we know for a fact that in the next couple of years, FFP is going to be even stricter and stricter. So why can't Chelsea do this? I haven't got a problem with them doing this, because they are inheriting now so that in the future, they then don't have to do that much. I don't think they need to be penalised for it. I don't think there needs to be any repercussions for it. They are simply doing within the eyes of the law and the way that the FA, FIFA, UEFA all set about their rules. I do want to mention just how much money and how many players they've brought in, because I think even they forgot that they can only have a 25-man squad in the Champions League and the Premier League. I mean, I think these limits need to be increased just a little bit. But considering if you have under 21 players, they don't count towards that, does make things a little easier. And if you are planning for the future with your Badia Shields and your Mudriks and stuff like that, then fair enough. But, I mean, what? They spent 300 plus million, taking their total, or even more than 300 million. I don't even know what the exact figure is. I just know that they have spent in 2 windows over £500 million, which is more than Tottenham have put into the club in terms of transfers, I think, for the past 5 years. That's another topic I want to do in another video, talking about Tottenham spend, because, oh god, I could talk for an entire eternity on that. But that's an insane sum of money. And do you know what? Like, people are saying, oh, they've never seen this type of spending before. Well, yes, they have, but not in the same caliber. Because I think if we go back to 2002, 2003, when Roman Abramovich took over, while he wasn't throwing this amount of money in, he was putting up money at the time not a lot of people had seen. And he was buying a lot of players. So this is not the first time Chelsea have done this. Let's just get that right. But they are doing it now in an era where spending is at an all-time high, because the whole financial aspect of football is completely broken. It was broken by Neymar. Neymar was the first person to completely break this. Then it was Mbappe. Then Barcelona, when they were going through their terrible deals with their previous ownership. And now it has stemmed into the Premier League as well. When you look at the fact that we now have 200 million plus players in the Premier League, being Grealish and Enzo Fernandez, it's kind of mad. And you know, like, ever since that Neymar deal, every team now can charge whatever they want. Even a mid-tier player, a club can charge extortionate amounts from. When you've got clubs like Brentford and Bournemouth and stuff like that can say, oh no, if you want our player, you're going to have to pay big sums. You know, it's then going on to other teams as well, like how in certain I mean, for one example, with Bournemouth buying Antoine Semenyo from Bristol City in a deal that's £12 million. He is a championship level player, and they have charged a 8-figure fee for him. That is incredible. But that is the way that today's market works. That teams can just go, well, you know what, if Barca could get 200 million for Neymar, and Benfica write in a stupid clause saying they've got to pay this. Why can't we do that? And that's testing the restraints of certain clubs, because some clubs are happy to pay it. But you look at Man City. Man City are now a lot more reserved than where they used to be. Like, they're not just going to go around and start spending 60, 70, 80, 90 million pounds on a player unless they feel it's absolutely necessary. Look at Liverpool. Liverpool tried doing that with Darwin Núñez, and while in the immediate time frame hasn't been a success, he could easily become a success. But Liverpool only resorted to that because other teams around them have done it. And that's just why, like, when it comes to January, it's like you pack so much in such a small amount of time. When it's the summer transfer window and you can play out over a number of months, it doesn't seem that bad. But going through, I mean, some of the deals on this, like I said, the Enzo Fernandez deal that went through at the 11th hour, Jorghino going to Arsenal, which, in my opinion, is not a good signing. I don't like Arsenal. I'm a Tottenham fan, but I'm saying this as a strictly footballing perspective. I don't see that being a good deal. I really don't. It's an 18-month deal. They've spent £12 million on him, which is just absolutely incredible in my eyes. Chelsea have managed to get someone off the books and then bring someone else in. That's incredible. Marcel Sabitzer. I mean, within what, hours of finding out that Eriksen was going to be out for the rest of the season, they immediately had, I think it was 3 or 4 names already on a shortlist. They just contacted Sabitzer, who was the best of the bunch, and went, do you want to play for Man United till the end of the season? Yes, I do, obviously. He's on a flight, he's there. But with Liverpool have sufficient problems in that midfield, and they've done nothing. Liverpool did nothing this transfer window. Man United did one thing, which does generally help them going forward. Marcel Sabitzer is an absolute ball, and I think he will fit in with that midfield alongside Casemiro absolutely fantastically. You look at Bournemouth. Bournemouth brought in about 4 or 5 players. You look at Wolves, brought in a few players. Nottingham Forest took their total to 30 signings. 30 signings for one club in one transfer window, when, as I said, the limit is 25 players, and a number of those have to be homegrown players as well. I mean, they bought Keylor Navas, and I saw a thing, someone saying that this is imagine in 10 years ago telling someone that Nottingham Forest had assembled a team with Keylor Navas, Renan Lodi, Serge Aurier, John Joe Shelby and Jesse Lingard, amongst other names, and Felipe. Like, that's insane. I mean, I don't know if they will stay up. I think they just about will. But there are a number of people that I know want them to go down because of the sheer amount of people they have signed. And it's left that some of the people they bought in the summer now no longer can play football for them because they've been excluded from that 25-man squad. Now, obviously, if they've not performed, it's completely understandable. But now they're just like, why did I move in the first place? But I think, I mean, looking at my team, you know, we ended up getting the Pedro Porro deal over the line. That was frustrating. And I think what people were annoyed about is the fact that it took until about 10 o'clock at night for the transfer to be made official. The thing is, the deal was done in the morning. The deal was done by about 11 o'clock. But the thing with Tottenham is they film so much stuff to get it all in on one day that's the reason it took so long. And the problem with that is it also showed the fact that there was no one else coming into the club. There was no centre-back, no other centre midfielder, nothing else like that. That was literally the only one. So they made you wait and put out a very entertaining announcement video. I'm not going to lie about that. That was actually pretty well done. But like I said, this transfer window has been insane. It's been dominated by Chelsea. Everything from Badiashile to Mudryk, João Felix, Gusto, the Leon lad, and then getting Enzo Fernandez across the line as well, amongst other names, was incredible. Like, they wasted no time in literally shipping Jorghino to the other side of London, taking his squad number and giving it to Enzo Fernandez as well, which is the epitome of, thank you for your work, we don't care about you anymore, we're now going to give your number away. So I thought that's kind of, I mean, he did help Chelsea a lot. And to literally almost feel like they just disregarded all his work was kind of harsh. But, you know, that's just the way Chelsea do things. And I don't... like, Chelsea fans thinking they're going to get top 4 at the end of this. So, like, if you think that, I do respect you for it. But there's no way in the next 3 months you are going to get all those players to gel in Potter's way. If you don't get Europe, do not be upset at him. Because I'm looking at this now. Next season, Chelsea win the league. hands down, because once Potter has had a number of months to work with them, he's had a full summer that he can implement his mindset to them, then they will win the league. 100% they will. And if they don't then win the league, then you can sack him. Simple as that. But there's no way he can get his ideologies and his way of playing across to them whilst he's barely had any time to work with them. Even during the World Cup, he only had a handful of players. So it is nowhere near down to him about this. But overall, this transfer window was absolutely insane, absolutely incredible. Will we see another one like this? Absolutely. I do believe next January we will see something even bigger, especially with teams that didn't do a lot. Obviously, City only bought one young lad and everything, so Liverpool didn't do anything, Everton didn't do anything, but they're going to be in the Championship next season anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, next season I do expect the January transfer window to be just as intense. I don't think the same money will be spent, but it will still be the same volume of players coming in and out of the country and stuff like that. And I do want to end it just on this with the way Tottenham ended the day. So we sold Hill on loan, we sent Spence on loan, and we all thought Doherty was going out on loan, only for the Post to read that they had terminated his contract by mutual agreement and sent him to Atletico Madrid on a free. Now, what this tells me is the club are willing to do that to players. So in the summer, there better be a lot of, we have mutually agreed to terminate this player's contract, because there's about 4 or 5 I can see that's going to happen to. If that can happen to someone like Doherty, it can happen to anyone. Doherty was a fan favourite at Tottenham, and if it wasn't for Matty Cash injuring him when we thumped them at Villa Park last season, Doherty would have been the number 1 right back at this club, and Emerson Royale would have been the one that would have been mutually terminated. But since that injury, he's never been able to pick up that form because he's been in and out, in and out, in and out. He has performed. Him and Kulusevski on that right hand side was a phenomenal partnership. Now we have to move forward with Pedro and Kulusevski, which I'm looking really forward to. But I mean, he holds no ill feelings to the club, and I do love that. He's said that he's proud of the boys and he's going to support the boys and stuff like that. And all I have to say to that is, Matt Doherty, you know, you're out there in Madrid right now. I've seen a couple of videos of him already. I don't know how he's going to get in with the team, but I fully love you to the, like, you are my Mara Doherty. I hope Madrid goes well. He didn't deserve to go out that way. I think if any player, he was the last one on that list to be treated that way, to have his contract cancelled like that. But he wanted game time. I cannot fault him for that. I do wish, though, that it wasn't done by mutual and it was a loan deal. But that's how I'll end it with that. A crazy 2023 transfer window. We've got 3 months left of the Premier League season. It's going to be absolutely insane. I will do more videos on this season. If you do want to see that, hit the like button, subscribe down below. If you want to hear any topics as well, let me know down below and I will certainly get through to them as well. Otherwise, have a good day and peace.